What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome into episode number 545 of Underground Sports Philadelphia. It's KB coming to you solo dolo for this episode. Got some fun stuff to dive into. I apologize for the delay in the episode getting out. I was away and not the most ideal internet circumstances that we have here in the studio to get things out, so a lot of our shows did get delayed. We've been mass uploading a ton of stuff, so our schedule's been a little wonky on YouTube and with podcast releases over the past few days, so I do apologize for that off the top of the show here, but hopefully by the end of this week things will be smoothed out, smooth sailing, and going into next week, starting with Monday's episode that this should have been, things will be back on track, and we will be back on a more normal schedule for all of our shows here at Underground Sports Philadelphia. But we've got some fun stuff to talk about, both sports-wise and hashtag up to something season-wise as well. But before we get into all of that, make sure you guys are following us on the socials at Underground PHI, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.com/UndergroundSportsPHI, Twitch.tv/UndergroundSportsPHI if you want to watch myself and Matt record the live show live for the people every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Go follow the Twitch channel over there, which over the next couple of months we're working on the Twitch channel content and diversifying it a bit and making it a lot more active than it has been over the past year plus, outside of just the main pod and now Top Bins. We do live on Twitch as well, but we're working on diversifying the content on our Twitch channel. You can follow me on Twitter at KBIZZL311. Subscribe to the podcast feed, Apple, Spotify, wherever you decide to consume your podcast from. We are there. Leave a 5-star rating and review. It goes a long way for helping more people find the show, helps people find Underground Sports Philadelphia as a whole and our entire catalog of podcasts. So go subscribe, be a friend, tell a friend, leave a 5-star review. And, of course, subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. That's where you get full video episodes of this show twice a week. You get full video episodes of every podcast on our network. You get clips, shorts, live streams, original content. We're working on some other content that should have been up a while ago, but scheduling's crazy, and when I'm the primary editor, things get backed up a bit. So we're working on getting video content up on the YouTube, but go subscribe, youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. We're trying to finish the month of June strong. It was a little bit of a down month for us on YouTube from what I can gather so far, but hopefully going into the month of July a lot stronger. We're currently at 517 subscribers, looking to get to 600 sooner rather than later, looking to get to 1,000 sooner rather than later. So go subscribe, youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. We are doing a giveaway right now with Dewani as well. So if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, you're automatically entered to win the giveaway print that we have with Dewani that's running through July 7th is when we're announcing the winner of that giveaway. So don't miss out on that. Go subscribe to the YouTube. Big thank you to Security21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated for their continued support of this podcast. And, of course, Underground Sports Philadelphia is presented by the City of Vineland, and the City of Vineland Municipal Calendar features city-organized, city-sponsored, and city-affiliated events that are of public interest. The calendar, which is accessible at vinelandcity.org, is a good way for residents and visitors to build awareness, remain engaged with city government, and participate in local events. You can also follow the City of Vineland on social media via their Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube pages. Through these tools, you can stay connected to the community and get important announcements about programs and services offered by the city. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. And be sure to get your merch, phiapparel.co. the place to get it. They are the best in the game. There's no doubt in our minds you're going to stand out in the crowd, especially if you're rocking one of these Philly Dogs shirts that I've got on right now if you're watching on YouTube. Original design from us. Represent University of Georgia, represent the Philadelphia Eagles, plus this whole team is full of dogs. You can get this. You can get Underground Sports Philadelphia merch, all of our podcasts as well. And when you go to checkout, use promo code UNDERGROUND for 10% off your order. That's how they know you're coming from us. That's how, it's the most effective and direct way to support everything we're doing. Get your merch, rep it. When you get your merch, tag us, tweet at us. We want to see where you're rocking your merch from. Go get your merch, phiapparel.co, code UNDERGROUND, 10% off any and all merch orders. Let's get into it. The Philadelphia Phillies doing the damn thing. They win a series against the New York Mets for the first time since September of 2021. They finally win a series against the Mets. It's unbelievable that it took that long, that they didn't win a single series all season in 2022 against the Mets, but they get the job done, and they do it in hilarious fashion, lol Mets fashion, as the Mets hit two batters back-to-back with the bases loaded to walk in the winning run. And I was there on Sunday with my uncle, taking it in from our season ticket spot, and it was just beautiful theater, beautiful cinema. Trey Turner leads it off with a home run on Sunday in the rubber match, and the Mets get two back. Then the Phillies tie it up. Then the Mets go up one again, and then the Mets go up 6-3. And then it's like, oh, this game feels like it's out of touch, and we just can't beat the Mets. We're not meant to beat the Mets. It's so frustrating. It's so annoying. Why can't we beat the Mets? Especially when they stink. And then the Mets just met, and they give up 4 runs in the 8th inning on 1 hit. And the Phillies win the series. And they continue to roll. The Phillies are playing well right now. They are currently in 3rd place in the division, sitting at 41-37. And where were they at this time last year? Oh, that's right, 41-37 through 78 games. Matt and I have talked about this a ton, and it still remains true. Your competition is not the Atlanta Braves right now. Like, the Braves are by far and away gonna win the division. The division is not the goal for this Phillies team right now with how they're currently constructed. Can things change? Potentially. Like, it's still 78 games into the season of 162. But the games that the Phillies need to focus on are beating down on the Nationals, the Mets, and worrying about what the Marlins are doing, because the Marlins are still ahead of the Phillies by 4 games. You need to have the Marlins come back down to earth. They're 46-34. They are your immediate competition. The Mets are your immediate competition when you face them, because you have to beat the teams that are bad and behind you so that they don't catch up to you. You have to beat teams like the Cubs. You have to beat teams like the Brewers. You need the Brewers to lose games. You need the Pirates to lose games. You need the Reds to lose games. You look at the NL West, you need the Dodgers to lose games, the Padres, the Giants. Those are your competition right now. Like, the division is kind of out of sight, out of mind in my book right now when it comes to this Phillies team. You are looking to secure one of those 3 wild card spots. And your immediate competition is open now. It's an open gate because of where you are in the standings. So you're looking at teams like the Brewers, like the Cubs, potentially the Pirates, but it looks like they might be sellers now that they've come back down to earth quite a bit. The Dodgers are your competition. The Giants are your competition. The Mets, even though they're bad right now, they're still your competition. They're in your division. They can leapfrog you. And the Marlins are your immediate competition. And I know that's a tall task for this Phillies team, is being able to beat the Marlins, but you have to beat the Marlins whenever you face them. And I mean, looking at the schedule right now to see when the Phillies do play the Marlins again, I don't think it's until after the All-Star break. I could be wrong there, but I think the last divisional matchup that the Phillies have going into the All-Star break is the Washington Nationals coming up over the weekend. But you have the Cubs, you have the Nationals. Oh, I do stand corrected. Going into the All-Star game, you are at Miami for 3 games down in Florida, which is going to be a massive series. That's a massive series. You need to go in there and at bare minimum win 2 out of 3, because those games effectively way as 2 games in the standings because they're in your division. They're ahead of you in the wild card. You need to win those games. That's huge. And then at the end of July, going into August, you have a 4-game set in Miami against the Marlins. And then you don't play them again until September at home at Citizens Bank Park for 3. So some massive games up against the Marlins, right on the horizon. And, you have the Washington Nationals coming up on the schedule as well. You have a very good Tampa Bay Rays team on the schedule as well. So there's a lot of games that the Phillies need to bring their best, and they need to keep playing the way that they are. And hopefully, the pitching continues to roll into the way that it has through the month of June and really has helped carry this team a ton. The starting pitching has started to figure a lot out. The bullpen's been fantastic. And they just need the bats to really come to life consistently. Trey Turner seems to be figuring some things out right now. Brandon Marsh is getting hot, which is a good sign for him to kind of prevent the platoon in center field situation and limit your bench depth. You need these guys to start getting hot, and Nick Castellanos is obviously the dog. He should be in the All-Star game. It's crazy that he's not in the second round of voting. He's been carrying this team offensively a ton. You look at guys like Bryson Stott, who's been getting on base and hitting and hovering around 300 with his batting average. Hopefully Alec Boehm is starting to put some things together as well. He looked great in Sunday's game against the Mets. And you just need this offense to really start clicking, and that'll open the opportunity for you when the trade deadline rolls around, or even before the trade deadline. We're on that cusp of when the All-Star break rolls around. It's like, okay, All-Star break's over. Time to start hitting the phones and see who's ready to call who and make a move. Everybody knows we're on White Sox watch here on this podcast. If the Phillies can beat down on the Cubs and knock them further down in the standings, maybe we're on Cubs watch with Marcus Stroman. Everybody's on Rockies watch as well because they've fallen out of it. The Padres might be sellers at 37-42. The Mets might be sellers at the deadline. The Pirates, it sounds like Andrew McCutchen could potentially be shopped around. So that's something to monitor. The Cardinals more than likely could be sellers as they are off. They're having a horrible season this year. The Nationals are going to be a team to watch, and if you shift over to the American League along with, the White Sox, the Royals are definitely going to be sellers. The Tigers could end up being sellers. The Guardians potentially, but they're still hovering around towards the top of the division of a bad division. The Red Sox could end up being sellers now that they're at 500 and the division is kind of out of reach for them with how good the Rays and the Orioles have been. You look at the American League West as well, like the Athletics. Who knows who they could sell off? The Mariners are having a down year after a fantastic year for them last year. The Astros are going to be in the mix in terms of buyers, so you're going to be competing against teams like that. So there's a lot that's going to go into this trade deadline because so many teams are still in the running and so many teams are still trying to figure out what they want to do, that it's going to be interesting down the stretch through the end of June and then this first portion of July to see where teams go into the All-Star break and find themselves in terms of the standings and where they feel positioned to go into the second half of the season as either a contender or are we ready to sell and kind of call it quits on this season. The Phillies winning that series against the Mets was huge, and I'm trying to look here how many consecutive series they've won now. So they win the Mets series. They lost the Braves series, obviously, so that put a damper there. But outside of that Braves series, you go back all the way to the beginning of June, that National series. You won a series against the Nationals. You swept the Tigers. You took 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers. You took 3 out of 4 from the Diamondbacks. You swept the A's. You beat the Mets in a series. You've won 6 out of your last 7 series. That's how you win in Major League Baseball. You win 2 out of 3. You win 3 out of 4. Winning series is the most important thing. I know every night, when there's a loss, it sucks. But at the end of the day, if you're telling me the Phillies are going to win 2 out of every 3 games, they're going to throw in a sweep here and there, they're going to win 3 out of 4, I'm going to feel good about this team because they're putting themselves in a position to win. and winning more than losing. Like, that's the whole name of the game, is win more than you lose. And if you're taking 2 out of 3 every single series, you're winning more than you lose. So, I mean, the Phillies are playing great baseball right now. The month of June has been very kind to them for the most part, outside of, 2 straight losses to start the month and then losing those 2 games to the Braves. Everything else has been fantastic for them in terms of results, and that's what you want to see. You want to see the results. You finish up this month against the Cubs and the Nationals. Going into July, you also have the Nationals as well. And then it's Tampa and Florida before the All-Star break. Then you come out of the All-Star break, 4 games against San Diego, 3 games against Milwaukee, so 7 at home. The Phillies have been a fantastic team at home this year. They are currently, if I look here, 21-14 at home. That's pretty damn good. Take advantage of where you're good as a ball club. And then you go on the road for 3 against Cleveland, come back home to play Baltimore, and then you finish the month of July on the road for 7 games at Pittsburgh and then at Miami. So going into the trade deadline. And that's going to be huge too. Like, you're going to Miami right after as the trade deadline, crunch time is happening. So, you're going into your main competition as of this moment at the end of June with potential to add better pieces to make it a more formidable matchup to go in and beat a Miami team that you're trying to leapfrog in the standings right now. So I'm feeling good about the Phillies right now, which is a great thing for this team. You want to feel good about them, and we'll see how things continue to play out over the course of the next few days going into the All-Star break and such. But feeling good about the Phils. The pitching has been fantastic. And I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad about where they sit. So very thrilled with the way the Phillies have been playing in the month of June. But let's take a look at the NL East. And, of course, Major League Baseball Run Differential is brought to you by our awesome partners over at Wasted Wedge. They're the best in the game, and I want to tell everyone about a brand new way to drink shots with your friends and family when you're playing golf or just hanging around, having a good time, watching the fight in Phils maybe, tailgating, all that good stuff, from our friends over at Wasted Wedge. Wasted Wedge is going to change the way you enjoy celebrating drinking on and off the course. Think your traditional shot ski, but make it way less messy, way easier to carry around, and it's way more fun because it's a golf club. It has extendable pieces to add on to bring in more people for more shots, more fun. It's all plastic cups, so you don't have to worry about cleaning things because it's just disposable. You throw it away, bada bing, bada boom, and then you can use whatever drink you want to take a shot of. Boom, it's done. Easy. And it collapses right into the side pocket of a golf bag. So if you're out on the golf course, easy way to carry it around. Check out their full lineup of Wasted Wedges and merchandise at wastedwedge.com and find them on Instagram and Facebook at Wasted Wedge. Be sure to follow them. Comment on their stuff. Let them know you're coming from Underground Sports Philadelphia. We want to support them as much as possible. A local business, small local business. Wasted Wedge, they're the best in the game. Remember that name, Wasted Wedge, and wastedwedge.com. The NL East run differential looking a little something like this, everybody. There is just still one team with a positive run differential, but a few teams lurking, creeping up on getting back to the positive realm. The Atlanta Braves at 53-27 in first place. They're at a plus 117 run differential. The Miami Marlins at 46-34. I don't think they're coming back down to earth, everybody. I think they're going to be a thorn in our side all summer long because they are no longer in that laughable realm of a run differential, although they have scored the fewest amount of runs in the division. They're 46-34. They have a -6 run differential, and their expected win-loss is 39-41. So they still are overperforming quite a bit. They're 25-16 at home. They have the best record in one-run games in baseball this year, and they're just going to be the Nats, and I don't mean the stolen franchise, of the Phillies season this year with where they are in the standings. The Philadelphia Phillies at 41-37, sitting with the third most runs scored in the division, only behind the Braves and the New York Mets. Phil's at a -12 run differential, so they're slowly creeping back up to digging themselves out of that early season hole. So they're doing the damn thing there. They are 3 games under 500 on the road, but they're 21-14 at home, like I mentioned. And then you got the New York Mets, the Lowell Mets at 36-43. They are 3-7 in their last 10. They have a -14 run differential. And then the stolen franchise, Washington Nationals, at a -65 run differential, coming up the rear at 31-48. Then we look around Major League Baseball. Every team but the Chicago Cubs in the NL Central has a negative run differential. Even though the Cincinnati Reds on fire, I did get to witness Ellie De La Cruz's cycle in person, which was awesome. Cincinnati was great. Had an awesome time taking in my very first Reds game. Lots of Nick Castellanos fans still in the Cincinnati area. Also met an awesome new fan. So shout out to, I want to shout him out properly. Don't want to mess this up here because I know he's going to be listening now, which is super dope. Got to talk to my guy, Jesse Dunbar. Shout out. He followed the podcast live while we were in Cincinnati and checked us out. His pops was from Cherry Hill, which was really cool. So shout out to Jesse Dunbar. But yeah, every team in the NL Central with a negative run differential except for the +28 Chicago Cubs. Then looking at the NL West, every team but the Colorado Rockies in the plus run differential segment. The Rockies, though, with the worst in all of National League Baseball with a -128 run differential. And then if we look at the American League, and the -128 is the second worst in all of baseball, only behind the -223 Oakland A's. The Texas Rangers at +152, leading the way in all of baseball, followed by the Tampa Bay Rays at +146. Every team in the AL East with a plus run differential. And then every team except for the 40-42 first place Minnesota Twins with a negative run differential. The Twins with a +24 run differential, and the Royals with a -123. So more shots, more fun. Shout out to our friends at Wasted Wedge for helping us bring the run differential roundup around Major League Baseball to the people. Looking here at what else is on my rundown. Danny Briere, the Flyers, brought to you by our friends at Tomahawk Shades. I'm rocking my blue light glasses right now. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll see them. Tomahawk Shades are the best small batch eyewear in the game. Sunglasses, blue light glasses, prescription lenses for a fraction of the price of the big eyewear companies, and it's an even better quality. Can't even front with you guys. Tomahawk Shades has been rocking with us since 2020, and I have not worn a better pair of sunglasses or blue light glasses in my life. They are the best in the game. You guys can get your own when you go to tomahawkshades.com, fill up your cart, use promo code USP at checkout to get 25% off your order at tomahawkshades.com. That's tomahawkshades.com, promo code USP for 25% off your order. Danny Briere looking to just blow up the Flyers. It's crazy. Some trades are being held back with no trade clauses. Tony DeAngelo might be on the way out, which is pretty dope. Get that scumbag out of here. But I think the best thing that Danny Briere is doing is he's leaving no sense of like the failure Flyers. Like he's cleaning house, and it's for good reason. Like he's getting rid of the stench of losing, and it's not that some of these players are losers. It's just a matter of like the collective of this past few years of Flyers hockey has just been ingrained in losing. Like there's been no success from this iteration of the Philadelphia Flyers. So I mean, him blowing it up is just good. This is what should have happened half a decade ago, if not longer ago. Like this team should have been disassembled, rebuilt, and they should be a powerhouse. But yet here we are in 2023 going into 2024 for the majority of next season. It's just starting the rebuild. So I think everything that Danny Briere is doing, everything that Keith Jones is doing in terms of roster construction and getting the most value you possibly can for these players on the contracts they're on, it is it's such a smart move, and it's a good job by Danny Briere and company to just assess that this team needs a facelift. They need to shed dead weight. They need to just start anew. And the fact that he's not afraid to do it, especially as a former Flyer, as a Flyers like folk hero, speaks volumes of just like how I think he's going to be successful of a general manager. So I'm pretty stoked that, you know, change is happening with this Flyers organization, and you can't be mad about it whatsoever. So props to Danny Briere. We'll see what other moves happen. Obviously, the NHL draft is on Wednesday night. Dylan's going to be full-fledged into that, so make sure you're following Dylan at Dylan Mazzola to see everything going on with the NHL draft, because it's going to be quite a doozy, I would say, with everything going on with the NHL draft. So we will keep our eyes peeled on that for sure. But keeping it pushing here, we're going to wrap up the sports segment for now with the Philadelphia Union, as they did the damn thing on Saturday, took down Inter Miami after pulling even in a tie against Orlando City on Wednesday. On Saturday, they were able to take down Inter Miami 4-1, get a nice big bounce back win after a loss and then a draw. So that's a big 3 points there for the Union going into this month of July, as the Union sit in fourth place in the Eastern Conference, but just 2 points behind New England to bump into second place. Cincinnati at the top at 43 points, and then Nashville with 35 points. So Union hovering right around where you kind of want to see them at, and hopefully this rough patch now out of the way for them of kind of a couple bumps in the road as they get set to take on Atlanta United on Sunday, July 2nd. Then they take on the LA Galaxy in LA Saturday, July 8th. Then they're at Nashville on Wednesday, July 12th, before coming back home finally on July 15th to take on New York City. And then they're off for the All-Star break after that one. So big little stretch here. 3-game road trip is going to be huge, especially that game against Nashville. That's going to be a huge table standings type situation there. So definitely keeping our eyes on that with the Philadelphia Union and seeing how things progress for them as we get ready for this next stretch half of the season. So looking forward to hopefully seeing the Union bounce back in these 4 matches before the All-Star break, finding their way and, building some momentum going into the next half of the season. But before we wrap up, our friends at Kenwood Beer just did a massive rebrand. That is top-notch. KenwoodBeer.com. Get your Kenwood Golf League shirts. Like, come on now. Watch on YouTube so you can see the shirt. The shirt is magnificent. It is beautiful. They've got the Golf League, they've got the Softball League, and they got the Hockey Club shirts. They've also got the logo shirts, the new rebrand. KenwoodBeer.com, KenwoodBeer.com, KenwoodBeer.com. Use the Kenny tracker. See who's got Kenwood on tap in the Philadelphia area. It's just 4.1% ABV, 127 calories, just 10 grams of carbs. Go to KenwoodBeer.com. Like I mentioned, use the Kenny tracker. You can buy Kenwood at your local Philadelphia area liquor store, or if you're in Eastern PA, your local Whole Foods. Light body, light calories, plenty of flavor, the best light beer on the planet. Must be 21 or older to do so, and of course, please drink responsibly. And go get that new merch. If you get new Kenny merch, tag us. We want to see where you're wearing it from. Shout out to the Kenny boys for being the official beer partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia. Everybody, welcome to an Up to Something season update. When I first announced Up to Something season about a month or so ago, that was like our Iron Man 1 phase. That was the first installment of this version of Up to Something season. We have since progressed now to The Incredible Hulk phase. And yes, everybody's probably like, The Incredible Hulk? Nobody likes that movie. That movie stunk. Why are you worrying about that? Well, that's because The Incredible Hulk, while it was not as well perceived as some of the other Marvel movies, and obviously Ed Norton was recast to Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk moving forward after that movie, That movie still has important pieces to it that are still existing in the MCU. And that's what this portion of Up to Something season is. There's going to be important facets of what we're talking about and what we're planning right now that will be seen when Up to Something season comes to fruition. But nobody's going to remember what went into all of that happening. Just like nobody remembers a big portion of what happened in the Incredible Hulk movie. They remember some of the key aspects because they keep popping up. Some of these key aspects that we're going to be doing right now with Up to Something season will continue to pop up, but nobody's going to remember how we got there. So welcome to Up to Something season 1.1, the installment 1.1. We've got our first patch update. We're going to fucking do this thing to the fucking moon, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope you're on board with us. I hope that when I can announce more details about this, we will see you as part of Up to Something season and be in our corner for Up to Something season, because if we're able to pull off what we are planning and what we have in store for the people, it will be something that our city has never seen before. It will be something that we as a company have never done before. And it's going to be something that propels our company into a new stratosphere as a digital media company on the internet and out with the people. So I leave you with this. If you like the content that we produce, if you are a fan of Underground Sports Philadelphia or any of our brands, that's Outside the Box, Streamer Season, Top Bins, Get in the Hole, F1 Underground. If you're a fan of any of our content creators, like myself, like Matt, like Dom, like Dylan, DJ, Pat Pitts, Stephen McAvoy, Ben Piero, Casey and Owen, Christian, the movie god himself, The Wiz. If you're a fan of any of our content creators, any of our content, please support us. Get behind us now, more so than ever, because we are going to need your help to the umpteenth degree to make sure that this goes off as big and as loud as possible. So get on board. Be sure to follow us on the socials. That is a huge thing. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's massive. Subscribe to the podcast feeds. That's massive. Comment on Instagram posts. Comment on YouTube videos. Get merch. All that good stuff. Those are the things that are going to make Up to Something season that much more successful. And it'll make it way more memorable than the Incredible Hulk movie. I leave you with that. Make sure you guys are following us at Underground PHI, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.com/UndergroundSportsPHI, Twitch.tv/UndergroundSportsPHI. Follow me on Twitter at KBIZZL311. Subscribe to the podcast feed, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Leave a 5-star review. Help us grow. The more reviews and ratings you leave on Apple and Spotify, the more people find the show. The more people find Underground Sports Philadelphia, the more we continue to grow. And even more, subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. If you like video versions of this podcast, that's where it lives. YouTube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. You get this show twice a week. You get every show on our network. You get live streams, clips, shorts, original content, vlogs, man on the street videos. You name it, if it's original video content, it's going on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. Go subscribe. Let's get to 600 subscribers before the end of July. I know June was our goal, but let's make it happen. Let's get this subscriber count rolling, everybody. Let's make it happen. youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. Go subscribe. And hopefully before Up to Something season comes to a close in 2024, we have over 1,000 subscribers. We have over 2,000 subscribers. Who knows? But if you subscribe right now, we're one subscriber closer to reaching all these goals. go subscribe to the YouTube channel, smash the like button, ring the bell icon so you get notifications sent to you when any video pops up on the channel, and leave a comment. Want to hear from you guys in the YouTube comment section because I know you are watching out there, especially this show. So go subscribe, youtube.com/@undergroundsportsphiladelphia. Big thank you to Security 21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated for their continued support of this podcast. And of course, we are presented by the City of Vineland. And whether you're a company looking to expand, relocate, or you're a new business startup, selecting the right location is critical to your success. Vineland, New Jersey offers both an affordable business location and an excellent quality of life. The city's economic development department is a one-stop source for moving your project through the development and approval process. Their goal is to make this process as smooth as possible and to provide the fastest turnaround times in the region. If you're considering potential locations for your operation, contact the Vineland Economic Development Team at 856-794-4100. That's 856-794-4100. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. And be sure to get your merch, phiapparel.co, code underground, 10% off any and all merch orders. We'll be back on Wednesday night live in studio, myself and Matt, talking all things Philly sports and whatever the hell else comes to mind. But until then, this has been episode number 545 of Underground Sports Philadelphia. I'm KB. Welcome to version 1.1 of Up to Something season. And we'll see you guys next time. But until then, I'm getting the heck up out of here. And I am signing off. Peace.